Other entities and/or marketing names, products, and services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory.
A Friday Lenten fish fry is a family tradition, but don't wait until Friday. The Mine Chef restaurant in Hartford serves their Lent fish fry every Wednesday and Friday. WTMJ's John Mercure here. The Lent Wednesday and Friday haddock fish fry is all you can eat, $8.99. You'll pay at least twice that at other restaurants. Kids and grandkids under 5 eat free Sunday through Thursday from that great kids menu. That's right, free. You can build your own big burger. How about a delicious chicken sandwich today, under $10? Desserts are buy one, get one free, and I love their desserts. There's no restaurant inflation at the Mine Shaft. Don't cook today. Enjoy the all-you-can-eat Wednesday Lent fish fry for $8.99. Cocktails, beer, appetizers, half price Monday through Thursday from 2 till 5 at the bar only. The Mine Shaft restaurant in downtown Hartford and in Oshkosh near EAA. Walk on in today for your Wednesday all-you-can-eat haddock fish fry, $8.99. Service begins at 10:30. Dine early.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Breaking news as it happens. Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
Good morning, 10:01. We're at 52 degrees. It's going to be sunny, windy, warm today. About a high of 60. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. Armed robbery and sexual assault near Marquette University early this morning happened around 2 a.m. near 14th and Kilbourne. A female student says a man displayed a weapon and sexually assaulted her, stole some items, then ran off. Suspect is described as black, 20 to 30 years old, with a slim build and black braided hair. He was wearing a tan hoodie and blue medical face mask. Governor Tony Evers declares 2026 the year of the neighbor in his final State of the State address.
Because we all could use a good neighbor and we could all be better neighbors. And we're going to spend the next year celebrating the neighbors who make Wisconsin a great place it is to call home.
He also touted his bipartisan achievements.
Giving working families a little more breathing room in their household budgets is something we've worked on together over the last 7 years. I'm hoping we can continue building on those efforts this session, including reaching bipartisan agreement on a plan to get meaningful resources to our K-12 schools and provide property tax relief at the same time.
Governor called on legislators to remain working instead of finishing work in March to focus on campaigning. State Republicans say more can be done for Wisconsin families. Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu pointed to recent Senate bills aimed at improving access to care.
The first proposal extends Medicaid eligibility for postpartum mothers from 60 days to a full year after giving birth. The second ensures insurance coverage for supplemental breast cancer screenings for women with heightened cancer risk. That's on top of the $7.8 billion increase for state budget provided our healthcare system, including support for hospitals, long-term care, and mental health facilities.
LeMahieu says these measures, combined with tax cuts and investments, should be a top priority for lawmakers this year. Desperate search for 9 missing backcountry skiers buried in a major avalanche in Northern California. Ethan Green is director of the Colorado Avalanche Information Center.
They really got this fairly complicated wilderness scenario, night, winter storm, avalanche danger, and they need to manage all of those risks.
15 skiers were caught up in the avalanche, of those 6 rescued. Gusty winds causing deadly pileups and fast-moving wildfires across parts of the Central Plains. Wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour reported Tuesday in parts of Colorado, Kansas, and Oklahoma, creating low-visibility Dust Bowl conditions for drivers. A brownout on I-25 near Pueblo, Colorado, created a massive pileup that killed 4. Police in southern Arizona hoping Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker could give up clues about her disappearance. The 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie has been missing from her Tucson home since February 1st. While her pacemaker disconnected from her cell phone monitoring app that morning, investigators say they're working with the manufacturer for any help in possibly locating the device. Good conditions made for a successful start to this year's sturgeon spearing season. Tom Moronic from the Wisconsin DNR tells Wisconsin's Midday News.
Water clarity is a big part of a successful opening weekend, as well as people being able to access all the locations. And this year, everything kind of lined up, and we had not only good water clarity, but pretty darn good access on the Lake Winnebago and the Upriver Lakes.
Harvest caps have already been reached for adult female sturgeon in the Upriver Lake. Sturgeon spearing season usually runs for 16 days. Time for news about your money and the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Markets are up. Dow up 279 points. NASDAQ up 292. S&P 500 up 57. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:05.
MW Marine.
Fishermen, tired of winter? Come in from the cold at MW Marine this Saturday, starting at 11 a.m. for a free fishing seminar. Meet Captain Doug Klett, Mercury Pro, as he breaks down springtime muskies on Lake Geneva, where to find them and how to get them to bite. Then check out boats, upgrades, and accessories to get your rig ready for the season. It's free and no reservations required. MW Marine.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard, aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Capri Communities, they believe people of every age deserve to enjoy life.
I recently moved my dad into a Capri community. He has gained such new independence. His falls have decreased, he's eating healthy meals, and going on great new adventures. Knowing Dad is in a great place really gives me the peace of mind I needed. And now, we're both enjoying life again.
Give the care that has your parent enjoying life again at Capri Communities. Get started today at capricommunities.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. College basketball, number 25 Wisconsin men's basketball team lost 86-69 to Ohio State. UW back home Sunday to play Iowa. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited. Siding and a whole lot more. Marquette men will be at home tonight against number 16 St. John's. On the women's side, Milwaukee Panthers take on Wright State. And the Milwaukee Bucks will take the court Friday for an away game against the Pelicans. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. We did have a crash off on the left shoulder, I-94 east at 84th Street. It looks like that has been cleared off the highway. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny, windy, warm today. High of 60. Increasing cloudiness tonight with a low 35. Chance for showers or isolated thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and evening. High Thursday 48. A rain-snow mix likely on Friday. Maybe some minor accumulation. High of 40. Partly cloudy Saturday. A few flurries possible. High 34. Slight chance of snow on Sunday. Mostly cloudy. High 32. 49 in Madison. 46 in Green Bay. 52 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited. WTMJ News Time 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Oh, it's hump day because it's Wednesday, and I love to honor that tradition. I don't know if I'll always do that. I mean, years from now, whether I'll still say when I'm not doing radio, happy hump day to somebody, but as long as I got a microphone, I'm probably going to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, and you celebrated too.
Can I tell you a funny story?
Yes.
From last night. So the Bucks event that we did with Jim Ozarski last night was fun, great. And someone asked him in the audience, what's your favorite dad joke that Giannis tells? And he couldn't think of one, but he said there was a time early on where Giannis wasn't in the press room, but totally straight-faced, Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday came out and were like, stop laughing at his jokes. You're making it worse. Like, this isn't funny anymore. And so they were like a plea to make Giannis stop and then stop buying into his stupid jokes. I feel like that's how I feel about your hump day.
It's interesting you say that.
I'm asking the audience, like, stop egging him on. But I don't know if anyone actually is egging you on.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was upstairs this morning, as I often am. I'm talking to our younger teammates because many of them are in their 20s. And when I often do dad-type jokes, and they all I hear them like, well, that's a dad joke. They say it right to me.
He's grown.
Yeah. You know, I like to have a good time.
I like dad jokes.
Yeah. Well, they're not bad for you. So I'm glad you had a great event last night.
It's great.
I don't know if he had a great event last night or at least a great speech, but Governor Tony Evers did his finale of a State of the State addresses. I didn't watch the whole thing, but I've seen pieces of it. There's a little bit of scolding in there because he wants the legislature to stick around to get this tax relief thing done. And remember how optimistic we were yesterday?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Really, really thought that maybe negotiations were going to happen. And he kind of shut that down.
Yeah, and look, I understand there's always going to be, and we're going to spend some time in the 11 o'clock hour talking about partisanship and the power of parties and politics with our guest, Dr. Julia Zari from Marquette. But I guess I actually stopped myself. I was going to chastise some of my conservative friends who are very active on social media because they went right to the playbook, right? Governor's trying to take credit for everything that's happening last year on taxes and all the things that the legislature would like to take complete credit for. I have to think that in a sane, rational world, given we have a Democratic governor and a Republican-led legislature, there has to be some obviously competition, but at some point they do work together.
Yeah.
So for one side to just blow up the other side, or one governor blowing up the legislature for not sticking around, I need more than that. I need more substance than that in the conversation. So I resisted the temptation to say, be better to some of my Republican friends who immediately went to, yeah, Tony, you're not taking credit for the last how many years?
Well, it wasn't just that. I mean, that's also the message we got from LeMahieu and Voss in their rebuttals to Evers' speech, right? It was basically like, this was a partisan speech. He's taking credit for what we did. If Democrats were in charge, we would be in a very different place, and it would be a hellhole. And that last part I made up.
And yes, you use your own language.
I use my own language.
So
summarize.
And we talked about this briefly yesterday. There's a group of Republicans and conservatives who are looking ahead to the governor's race, and they understand that this tension, this conflict, plays well to their base to get them mobilized to defeat whoever the Democratic nominee is going to be. I get how it works. It just seems so, this is my frustration. It just seems so simplistic and anti-intellectual. It's like, that's all you got? It's just name call? Are we ever going to get past that? That's my frustration. Help me with that.
Well, it's kind of what we were talking about yesterday as far as like bottom up versus top down in some of the, like, it only, as long as it works, why would they stop?
I guess.
Right? As far as like that messaging and that, like you said, like a lazy playbook. But if it works...
I'm not sure today, and we were sort of maybe overly optimistic the last couple of days, that they have a position that they can both sides can agree on.
The big thing it seems like it comes down to is funding schools. And it's such a roundabout conversation because I think, in part of the letter that LeMahieu and Voss sent Evers, they're like, oh, we're at record high spending for schools, but we're at record high spending for everything because everything is more expensive.
Right.
I mean, that is like quintessentially when you ever do like, what a dollar was worth in 1975 versus what it is today. And so it's, of course, we're spending more money because inflation. And so you don't just point it like we're wasting money because everything costs more. It's like, everyone needs higher paychecks. Like the infrastructure for things costs more. Materials cost more to actually go to school. So like to a certain extent, the fact that it was ever uncoupled from keeping up with inflation is like, you can't ignore that is part of the problem of where we're at yet. Yeah. But that does not negate that. Should we have conversations around streamlining districts? Should we have conversations around how what our funding model is? Like, absolutely. But I think to just say like, we're just throwing money at the problem, but it's also like everything is expensive. And so we should be at record spending because everything's at record spending.
The cost of running a government, whether it's local, state, federal, the costs never go down. It's a natural build into the equation when you talk about the economy of a state or a country. Everything goes up.
And so I would strongly make the argument that this shouldn't totally fall on property owners and property taxes, but that does still come back to this being part of the legislature and the budgets that have been passed and how we got here.
Just before we go to break, because we'll play a little bit of the governor's state of the state after the break, and then I'll give you some. I've just cut and pasted a couple of the responses. Wisconsin GOP and Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu was sort of felt left out of this equation as far as the conversation about what all this was.
Wait, did he bring it up again last night?
I don't know if he did. I only have a little piece of what he said because he did a 4-minute after the governor spoke. I don't know if you know that. And he basically just took credit for everything.
So he did the official rebuttal,
Yeah,
and
the
then
4
Bosses
minute.
just had some
Yeah.
comments that were made.
Oh, there was
to
a lot of rebuttals just done.
But as
press
far as the
releases.
official one
Yes,
was from LeMahieu.
I believe so. At least that's the one I have. So we're going to play a little bit of the governor's state of the state. I'll welcome your comments as well. 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talk and text line as we wind it up on a hump day edition of Point Taken right here on 620 WTMJ.
The Upswing with Jeff Sherman.
When you think about live sports, it's all about return to space. You are a part of the experience. How does that translate in terms of what we do day to day?
When a company returns to office, and if they say, we will now recommit to hiring locally, that is a return to local.
Saturdays at 11 on WTMJ. Presented by Horicon Bank, the natural choice for all your banking needs.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Valentine's Day may have passed, but Valentine's Month, and thank you, Milwaukee Weight Loss, for making this possible, sharing the love with $300 off during their Valentine's sale. Now through the end of February, which is February 28th, last day of the month. It's the perfect time to fall in love with the results you get from Milwaukee Weight Loss, their great program. It's the secret, by the way, to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day. I'm doing it. I have teammates that are doing it. I've done it. Last year I lost 45 pounds, losing more weight this year. Whether you want to look great for Valentine's month or an upcoming event, maybe a reunion, a wedding, a trip, you can start losing those unwanted pounds that you don't need right now. You can visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com, schedule your free consultation today. So show yourself some love here. $300 off. Hurry. This Valentine's sale ends February 28th. I've talked to so many people who have signed up and have lost the weight. That could be your story. Lose those 20 or 30 pounds or more. Here's where you start. Free consultation, 262-449-1180. That's 262-449-1180, or visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
We can't afford for lawmakers to lose focus on the future we've been working hard to build together just because it's an election year. So I know the legislature would rather hit the road and take the rest of the year off, but I'm going to ask lawmakers to stick around until our work here is finished.
Governor Tony Evers in his final State of the State before he yields the office and the position to either a Democrat or a Republican. Well, Republican, it would be Tom Tiffany. We don't know, although polling suggests, you and I were talking about this during one of the breaks, that it's still Mandela Barnes. I don't really...
I've never heard, what's TIPP or TIP? There was a poll, that's what I saw yesterday. It was like a polling done by TIP, which I had never heard of before. That had, so I don't know how the question was phrased. I haven't seen anything beyond just on a tweet or whatever we're calling it. It was Mandela 28, Rodriguez 20, Crowley at 8, Hong at 5, Missy at 1, and like Joel wasn't even on.
Yeah, Joel Brennan, who came in late.
Who came in late.
Although he still was in time. But
yes, and so that, I mean, if that is a good poll, a solid poll, that proves, or at least says, that what Zepecki and McCoshen said on Friday, as far as Mandela still being the front runner, at least in that poll, I'm looking forward to Marquette's first poll on this.
Yeah, exactly. That comes out in March. I think if I was going to handicap it, I still think Sarah Rodriguez is the person to beat, my opinion, based on nothing but opinion.
I mean, the truth is, have any of them really had big ad buys yet?
No.
Because I haven't seen any. It's the whatever breaks through on interviews and media and social media that pops up for me, but I really haven't seen. I think Tom Tiffany there was an announcement of an ad buy, so you'll start seeing Tiffany commercials soon.
Yeah, and sort of ties into what we're talking about. It's in his interest to have this relationship between Republicans in the legislature and the governor, Tony Evers, Democrat, be confrontational and be tension-filled because that plays in his narrative for his ads as he's talking about, I'll get rid of this nonsense. Now, I wanted to give you, I'm going to read a little bit from the Wisconsin GOP response, and essentially it's from their chairman, Brian Schimming. From over $2 billion in annual tax cuts to eliminating the sales tax on utility bills and expanding affordable housing options, these successes were only possible because of our Republican Assembly and Senate. Without Republican majorities checking Evers, Sarah Rodriguez, Mandela Barnes, Wisconsin families would face even higher taxes, unchecked spending, and rising cost of living. Now, I would agree that typically this legislature would keep costs down, would keep taxes lower. That's sort of the mantra of Republicans. It's not surprising. And Governor Evers has proposed budgets that are larger than the ultimate budgets that were agreed upon. That's not even debatable. That's the fact. I don't like the fact, and this is just me, that we always have to make this about the next race, not about the fact that there's a budget surplus that Wisconsinites have said, I think loudly and clearly in any way they've been asked, there's an affordability issue to deal with. Economy is challenging for at least half the population. And this is an opportunity to do something about that. That's my challenge to Republicans. This is from, now this quote is from the response from Devin Lemon. He was the Senate Majority Leader. He took the podium minutes after the governor did and gave a 4-minute speech that began like this. The state of our state is strong, but not for the reasons you heard earlier tonight. The state of our state is strong in spite of the governor, not because of them. Up because of him. Again, I get the warring factions. It's not serving the public interest, and the public interest is to always have an approach that benefits the individual households. That should be the mission statement of all elected officials in the state, and it's not.
What would you? So I mean, that's a blanket statement. The state of the state is strong. What qualifies us being strong, like stronger than not strong? In what to you, what is the criteria to justify calling it the state of the state being strong?
It's both long-term and short-term. Short-term, ease the pain of the economy for some people. Look, a lot of us are doing just fine. I'm not complaining. I'm doing just as good as I was 10 years ago. Better, matter of fact. So I don't feel that necessarily. But I know that a lot of single-parent households, people who deal with astronomically high child care costs and are just trying to figure out that equation. Oh, by the way, they need a new car, which costs, a ton of money as well. They're dealing with that. So that's the short term. You got to fix that for people. And if you can fix it with lowering some impact, whether that's property tax reduction, whether that's, God bless them if they get this done, a rebate check, which I've been talking about for years.
So here's my thing with a rebate check. Because it's good to get, let's say it's like $1,000 back or something.
It's $500
like
per person, $1,000 for family. 2-parent.
And I'm not saying that that's not a significant amount of money, but on the flip side of if you can invest in something that brings down the cost.
That's the long-term stuff, yeah.
It's like the having tons of people do the same thing and the lack of efficiency of that versus all being able to crowd together and pool resources. That's what taxes are, right? It's it may be a little bit more money in your pocket, but if we pool it together, we can actually invest in something that has a larger impact and ripple effects than you getting $1,000 back. And so that's how I, at least for me as the lefty, think of why we can be in the tax bracket that we're in. And I'm fine paying taxes so long as I feel like it's actually going to things that are making the collective better.
I think the most obvious one that everyone points to is school tax. That has become the largest piece of your property tax.
Yeah, for sure.
That has to be sorted out because it cannot continue in the same fashion.
Because this is the thing. It's not that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I understand as far as this 400-year veto of property taxes can go up for the next 400 years if the municipalities choose to do that because, but it's not necessarily that they will go up. And so is there not some logic that if we actually funded schools with our state taxes, that municipalities wouldn't have to max out the tax levies, and so it wouldn't. I mean, or is just the cynical assumption that even if we funded schools, you're still going to get your property taxes are still going to go up for the next 400 years.
It just has to be done in a different way because it's not sustainable and it's killing communities. It's killing school districts, some that aren't rich and that they're cutting staff, they're cutting teachers because they may have declining enrollment and because of the magic. What is it? The first Friday, or whatever the hell that number is in the fall, where they this is how many students have. This is
We
how
need
much
as many kids as possible, many butts and seats as we can.
And maybe it's the third week.
on that
I always,
day.
my wife will correct me because she always does on that. It's just, we cannot do it this way. And if you want to really impact everyone long-term in the state of Wisconsin, figure out education. Absolutely. And yes, a rebate check is a one-timer. Now, I would argue that a $1,000 check for a family might be very welcome.
And I'm not trying to diminish how, for a lot of families, that $1,000 would be big. But it's also, if you can, say you're a young family and you're spending $3,000 a month on childcare, if there's a solution out there to lower the cost of childcare month over month for your family, that's going to be a lot more dollars in your pocket than a one-time $1,000 check.
Yes. I think both things can happen, though. Could you have a child care tax credit that could really help families in a big way? We could be a leader on that issue.
Well, we're already behind.
Yeah.
I mean, New Mexico and Vermont are already.
Let's catch up.
And New York. I mean, that was one of the things that Mamdani actually got done almost immediately is universal child care.
Yeah. So that's a stepping stone, but you have to have bipartisanship to make that happen. Compromise is a C word that, unfortunately, has been demonized for far too long. Kristin, Steve, point taken. Quick break.
Are you hosting an event, launching something new, wanting to get the word out about your part of the state? Be a featured guest on the WTMJ Experience Wisconsin show. Share your story, promote your event or business, and connect with fans all across the state. I'm John Merkier. I'd love to interview you. We reach listeners from Milwaukee to Madison, Green Bay to La Crosse, everywhere in between. It's Experience Wisconsin. Ready to shine a spotlight on your business or company? Email me, john@WTMJ.com for more information. john@WTMJ.com.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi. Let me tell you about QC Kinetics. Changed my life, changed my story, and changed my pain. I had a left elbow injury, and I went to QC Kinetics as a client, and I said, what can you do for me? And they said, we can have your body heal itself. They're advanced regenerative treatments using your own healing powers. Dr. Ashley Caravelli and her team fixed my problem. If you're watching on YouTube stream, and you should be, my elbow's fine. I'm going to be golfing tomorrow night at my sim league. And I'm looking forward to that. No pain. That can be your story. So here's how you do this. Get started right. Don't wait. Right away. Do it today. Call this number, 414-667-5559. I'll give it to you again in a second so you can grab a pen. 40,000 people in this area cannot be wrong. Before you say yes to surgery or meds, call QC Kinetics. Consultation's free. Find out what they can offer. I was blown away by their team when I had my first consultation, and the treatment started 2 weeks later. Changed my story, can change yours. Here's that number one more time, 414-667-5559, QC Kinetics.
So it's about time you spruced up your home. Nothing major. You're not looking to spend a ton, but you are looking for something that'll give your quarters a little upgrade. There are a lot of things you can do with glass. Simply beveling your mirrors can do wonders. You can mill out your wood cabinet doors and replace the center with attractive glass inserts, or customize them with unique handcrafted artistry, or maybe a theme. You could even install a new glass shower door and add some real appeal to your bathroom. They're all pretty affordable home improvements, and Les's Glass Service has been helping homeowners like you for just about longer than anyone in town. You probably don't realize how affordably we can help you reach your home's full potential, but we do, and we can show you countless options. So if it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
With Pella, you get so much more than stunning windows and doors. You get the Pella experience. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. And with a 10-year labor warranty, your windows and doors are worry-free for years to come. If something goes wrong, we're here to handle it because you work with the same team from start to finish.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 48 months.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
If the Democrats were in charge of Madison, Wisconsin would be a very different place. Jobs would flee to other states after they repeal the manufacturers and agricultural tax credit. Our increasingly mobile workforce would leave for states with lower income tax rates. And popular reforms like voter ID and the REINS Act would have been repealed long time ago.
That is Devin LeMahieu, the leader of the Wisconsin State Senate. Also not a great orator, if I'm going to criticize. It's just very mundane and boring, but add some energy to it. Take some lessons, Pick it up. Enthusiasm. That's sometimes missing from our elected officials' approach to topics like politics and policy. Little speech there.
Okay.
We got to get to news, but after the break, we're going to talk about screen time.
And Sweden.
Always cited as the example of how to do things right in many different areas.
I actually just think, is Sweden I saw a Pew poll the other day. I think Sweden's the most, like, their people love their politics the most of any country.
All right, we'll talk about that. We got local news coming up. Here's the latest now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry. Preston, billionaire Les Wexner being questioned in Ohio today by members of the House Oversight Committee. Wexner was a longtime associate of Jeffrey Epstein and says in prepared remarks that he has nothing to hide, even though Epstein was a con man, he says, who stole millions from him. Health experts pushing back after the EPA rolled back a key environmental finding last week.
In a new lawsuit, the American Public Health Association, the American Lung Association, the Center for Biological Diversity, and several other public health and climate groups say the EPA is legally required to limit vehicle emissions, according to the Clean Air Act. Last week, the EPA rolled back the endangerment finding, which was the legal basis for regulations covering things like vehicle tailpipe emissions and pollution from factories. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
There's still no sign of 9 missing skiers who got caught in an avalanche north of Lake Tahoe in California. 6 other skiers who'd gone with them were rescued. This is ABC News.
Unlimited WTMJ News Time, 10:31. I'm Connie Weber. An 80-year-old woman recovering from serious injuries after being hit by a car in Wauwatosa happened Friday as she was trying to cross the street near 68th and Wells. The driver, 38-year-old Marlon Espinoza, told police she was driving her 12-year-old son to McDonald's and said she'd taken Listerine shots earlier that day. She failed a field sobriety test and is facing charges. FDA recalling over 20,000 peanut butter products that may contain pieces of blue plastic. They were sold in 40 states, including Wisconsin. Recalled products include creamy peanut butter packets and twin packs of creamy peanut butter with either strawberry or grape jam, sold under the brand names Flavor Fresh, Katie's Kitchen, Poco Pack, U.S. Foods, and Gordon Food Service. If you have any of these, you should throw them away. 3-time Grammy winner Nelly is playing the Bank 5-9 main stage on Friday, August 7th. Tickets go on sale on Friday. The 175th Wisconsin State Fair runs August 6th through the 16th. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow is up 288 points, 49,821. NASDAQ up 310 at 22,888. S&P 500 up 61 points at 6,904. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. A few new crashes out there. There's one on the exit to Good Hope Road from I-41 South. I-94 East at Hawley Road. There's a crash there. It is blocking the left lane. And I-43 South at Highland Avenue. Shoulders are blocked due to a crash. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny, windy, warm today. High 60, increasing cloudiness overnight with a low 35. Chance for showers or maybe an isolated thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon and evening. A high Thursday 48. A rain-snow mix likely on Friday. Just minor accumulation. High Friday is going to be 40. A few flurries possible on Saturday. High 34. And a slight chance of snow on Sunday. Mostly cloudy. High 32. 50 in Madison. 48 in Green Bay. 52 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber, Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
You're invited. Vince Vitrano here for Colette Vacations, and I would love for you to join us. Southern Italy and Sicily this fall. We'll see it all. Palermo, that's where my family is from. Agrigento's Valley of the Temples. Amalfi Coast to Sorrento. Positano. We'll even walk in the excavated ruins of Pompeii and savor regional wines, specialty cuisine, and history. Maybe the best part, you don't have to plan a thing. Colette covers all the details. The flight, the meals, best hotels, and amazing local experiences. No wondering what to visit. How do we get there? They have tickets, all taken care of by my team at Colette. My wife, Nicole, and I would love for you to join us. The trip is in late October, and I can send you all the information. Send me an email, vince@WTMJ.com. That's vince@WTMJ.com. I'll send you the brochure, everything you need to know, including your all-in cost and options. Vinny's European vacation to southern Italy and Sicily with Colette. Join us this fall.
I was ordering food for the office from the same few places for too long.
For workplaces suffering with office food fatigue, every day's a struggle.
Before starting Easy Cater, I assumed having no good vegan options for Carl in finance was normal.
Easy Cater is designed to treat OFF with a huge variety of favorite restaurants, plus tools to help you meet dietary needs and stay on budget. Used daily, one platform lets you save time and shine. Ask your app store about Easy Cater or start an order at easycater.com.
Are you a fraud-paying American? 1 in 4 tax-paying Americans have been victim of identity fraud. With LifeLock, your identity, if it's stolen, they fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. And last year, billions in refunds were stolen. Could be from your salary, overtime, or second job. Gone. But this year, you don't need to stay a victim. Because this tax season, fraud-paying American is something no American should have to claim. Save up to 40% off your first year with the promo code BECK. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms do apply.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I'm Kristin. He is Steve. You were excited to talk about this as far as Sweden's investment in de-screening schools.
Yeah, they've been talking about this for years. I think it started in the early 2020s, and now they're sort of implementing this stuff. So they're reversing this sort of, I don't know, what's the addiction that we have to all digital. Now, look, I'm a guy that appreciates technology. I'm not like a brilliant IT person by any stretch of the imagination, but I understand why this stuff matters. And there's value to all of this. And I don't want to say put the screens down forever and never use technology because that's stupid. And there's a lot of reasons why I would say that, because I know what history looked like 100 years ago. Not because I'm that old, but I read. And there was a lot of things that we suffered, the population suffered because we didn't have technology, and technology changed healthcare and communication. All these things are better because of technology. But, and I chose this story because I wanted to hear your response.
Okay.
Because Sweden, that Scandinavia, and is always looked at as from some people, the model of how things should be done. Healthcare, running their government. You cited a poll that
I feel like what it is that these are very high-taxed countries where you actually receive the services, and so your feeling of your taxes being put to work to provide services is high, right? Versus for us, it's like we pay taxes, and I think for a lot of people, are like, what do I actually get from this?
Yeah.
Because we certainly don't like certainly healthcare is not one of them. Paid family leave is not one of them. Maternity leave is not one of them. And so that I think is what the corresponding of like the ability to be efficient in how they utilize tax dollars in actually helping the people who live in those countries.
They also benefit from being relatively smaller populations.
Yes.
Larger countries suffer from just the politics of size, and certainly we have a very hyper-political system where we can't agree on anything, regardless of what that is. They have, and you cited a poll, and I don't know if you're going to pull it up or not.
I couldn't find it, but it was something that I saw as far
Their
as
satisfaction level is off the charts.
It was like polling amongst residents on how they feel about their country's politics. And Sweden was number 1, and Germany was number 2. Sweden was like 52% of like a approval rating, and I think Germany was like 38%. And those were the two highest. So like we were at like 8%.
But why I think specifically I wanted to bring this up is because they are, as they talked about in the early 2020s, they're implementing some of these policies, and they're investing, I think they use euros in Sweden. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, 100 million euros to reduce classroom screen time. So what does that mean?
Why does it take so much money to get screens out? Just take them. Take them. It feels like the investment in them sounds like $100 million. Like, oh, we're going to buy all this technology, but to get rid of them, why does it cost so much money?
Here's one of the answers right off the top. They have to print physical books, buy physical books versus, hey, just go to your iPad and find that document or that book. They're talking about handwriting, cursive, the return of cursive writing. I've told this story before, not on this show. When I went to take my grad school entry, fill out the application at UWM, I had to write in cursive, and I had to figure out, okay, I haven't written in cursive in like 20-some years. I actually struggled to figure it out. And I knew what I wanted to say, but like writing the letters, and that was me as a college grad.
Who probably had it literally beat into you by nuns.
Yes, literally, because I went to, thank you, St. Sylvester nuns, if any of you grads are out there.
My mom still writes in cursive.
My wife
do not.
still can do it. She's a brilliant. She can do what's the really fancy one?
Calligraphy?
Yes, and she does it for weddings and stuff. She's like a brilliant.
Nice.
I don't have that steady of a hand. Her signature's amazing. Mine's slop. I've written my signature a million times.
Is ineligible.
So they're saying in Sweden, and then they're implementing these changes in 2026. We're going to return to handwriting, physical books, to decline some of the issues that we talk about here: literacy issues, decline of test scores,
attention spans.
So they're starting with children 6 and under, and they're trying to move them away, not completely, but move them away from this reliance on digital technologies. I actually think this is something we should think about in this country. You know, you and I have grandkids.
There's some schools that are doing
yes,
that.
Yeah,
I
there
think
are
it's St. Marcus, which was a school that was very tech heavy, and our friend of the show, Quentin Claybon, had told me that they are actively moving away from that and going towards this. And so, like, this seems like a top-down, countrywide initiative. That's obviously not how it works in the United States, regardless of what people think. Like, the Department of Education is not in charge of schools.
Right.
States are in charge of schools, so this would have to be state by state that wants to make these kind of moves. But, like, I think it's smart. I think that we've had this technology long enough now that we're starting to have actual long-term studies that show not just kids, but also adults as far as reading retention and comprehension when it's a book versus a screen. Our attention spans, no matter the age, like just nosediving because of social media and short form video. How people just aren't reading for pleasure at all, like thing after thing after thing.
So I'll give you a couple of their recommendations they're actually going to implement and the age classifications. But health is a big part of this. So excessive screen time, poor sleep, depression, low physical activity. We've talked a lot about that, where young people aren't moving like they used to, and sort of a move away from Phi-Ed, which consumed an hour of our days when I was in grade school. So their recommendations implementing this year are for 0 to 2 years old, no screen time whatsoever. I can tell you my 1-year-old grandson watches stuff on an iPad.
We don't have a lot of iPad time, but we definitely have like the TV on.
Yeah.
For better or for worse.
Yeah, especially with the news of the day lately. 2 to 5 years, 1 hour per day. That seems realistic to me, right? 1 hour per day?
But again, what is this all encompassing of any screen whatsoever?
Any screen, yeah. 6 to 12 years old, maximum of 1 to 2 hours per day. I can tell you, I know 10-year-olds that are on way more than that. 13 to 18, 2 to 3 hours per day. That's not even realistic in this country. And this is the big one. And I'm a big advocate for this because I don't bring my phone into the bedroom ever. Neither does my wife. No screens in bedrooms. We don't have a TV in our bedroom. And no screens before bedtime. That's a big one. So
when do you put your phone away? How much? Like how?
About 7 o'clock, and then I read, read or watch something. I don't because you'll notice I don't like. I'm not texting. I'm not even. I'm just not doing it. It makes me. I fall asleep instantly. Thank you, Advent. Part of the reason. But I don't have to like sweat it or like I'm not seeing what I just watched on a screen. I read something. I process it. I don't think about it. I fall asleep. So again, a sample size of one older man, white man, it works. And I'm trying to get my wife, Kathy, to also do this because she loves her screens. She's got an iPad, she's got a phone. But she also, and you know this because I've talked to many women my age, they struggle with sleep. Constantly waking up. I think genetically women are wired to be more sensitive to sound for all the obvious reasons. They have to protect the child that they just had. All of those things are born into their DNA. But I think it's healthier. And I applaud a country that's willing to say, you know what, we're going to do something different. Here's my question for you. Is this country brave enough, beyond a state or two, to actually do something like this?
As a country?
Yeah.
I don't think
There's a role to play. Legislation, Congress, working. There's a trial in L.A. today with Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, that I'm really interested in because as I was reading more about we should go to break.
Addictive power of social media.
Let's go to break.
Yeah.
Because I'm just realizing where we are right
Take
now.
us to
But
break.
we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit more about what we can expect to hear from Mark Zuckerberg and this case, one of many cases as far as social media being crafted specifically to be addicting and the harm that it causes because of that. So we'll talk about that on the other side of this. It's Point Taken.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert with my son David, president of Accunet. David, we're pre-approving a lot of home shoppers this time of year. Why should someone choose Accunet for their pre-approval?
Dad, getting pre-approved with just any lender is like showing up to a first date in sweatpants. Sure, you're there, but are you really ready to impress? Our rock-solid pre-approval is like showing up in your best outfit with reservations already made. We also have an excellent reputation among real estate agents, so having Accunet's name on your pre-approval can make the difference.
What else?
In addition to clearly stating we verified your credit, income, and down payment, we'll also run the specific home you're looking to buy through our underwriting software to see if we can approve your loan without an appraisal, which sellers and their agents absolutely love. Bottom line, we do everything possible to help you win.
Thanks, David. Don't settle for anything less. Get started with your rock-solid pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Kristin Brey, and I want to tell you about a dentist I recommend, my dentist, Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care. If you've been putting off a cleaning or dealing with tooth sensitivity, or you're just finally ready to fix what's been bothering you, this is the place to start, actually. Dr. Michaels and his team are welcoming, thorough, and focused on your comfort. They'll explain your options super clearly and help you feel at ease in the chair. From regular checkups to crowns, cosmetic improvements, implants, and even Invisalign, they can handle it all. And if something happens to, unexpectedly, a little emergency, they offer emergency dentistry too. So call 262-567-7224 to request an appointment, or visit drmichaelsdentalcare.com to see Dr. James Michaels at Economwalk Dental Care.
Struggling to provide for your family is a real thing, like having to choose between feeding them a warm meal or paying the utility bill. These are the choices many Milwaukee residents are faced with, which is why they turn to St. Vincent de Paul Society's meal program for help. Our meal program has been a consistent resource for those in need for over 42 years. Nutritious meals, warm showers, and clean clothes, all in a safe, family-friendly environment. Our mission is clear, and that's to help you break the cycle of poverty by connecting you with life-changing community and educational resources. Last year, we provided $2.2 million in goods and services, plus 57,000 warm meals. If you or anyone you know needs a warm evening meal, you can find us at Harambe Kitchen 5 nights a week on the northeast side of Milwaukee in the basement of All People's Church. And at Crossroads Kitchen on the south side of Milwaukee 6 nights a week on 9th and Madison. As always, we're grateful for community members and volunteers who help us help you. To learn more, visit svdpmilw.org.
Keep the comfort in and the weather out with beautiful new windows and doors from Siding Unlimited. For ideas, go to our Siding Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
Welcome back. 2-point taken, Kristin and Steve. We're talking about Sweden. They're rolling out some changes for screen time. I don't know the answer to this. I was going to Google it, but I didn't have a chance. I was answering a text. Do you think there's a big difference between screen time between adult men and women? I don't know the answer to the question. Do you think it's the same?
No. I think it's probably the same. I don't think there's a gender difference between who spends more time. It's maybe what they spend more time on, a Twitter X versus an Instagram or a Reddit or a TikTok or something like that. But I don't know if there's measurable difference just because I don't think men spend less time or women spend less time.
Do you mine's 5 hours a day. I get that. You get that report every Sunday or whatever it is.
I don't know what mine is. See, the thing is, it's also doubled with laptop time. Because I would say most waking hours on any given day, any given weekday, we'll say that, I'm either looking at my laptop or I'm looking at my phone.
Yeah, a lot of that's work.
A lot of it's work.
That's I don't have a PC station here at a desk. I have a laptop that I have to work on. So every morning I would have from 6:30 to almost showtime where I'm on the laptop.
But yeah, I would say most. And on the weekends it's less because we're out doing stuff. But
Quickly, Mark Zuckerberg, owner of Meta,
is testifying today in Los Angeles. So he's
on the subject of social media addiction.
So yeah, he's testifying for the first time before a jury on claims that his platform, so Facebook and Instagram specifically, have harmed young users by making the apps intentionally addictive. So that is the part that they have to prove. In the courtroom, there's going to be parents and families from across the U.S. who say their children have been harmed or even died as a result of social media. And depending on how this case goes, it could set a precedent for holding social media companies responsible for dangerous design decisions. So basically, this is what I was learning about this morning as I was reading about this. This is going after them as a product. Like they're trying to, the lawyers, instead of forever, it's like Section 102 or something like that. Like the thing that is for a long time protected platforms as publishers who are not responsible for what users post.
You're talking about Section 213?
Is that what it is?
I think so,
Section
yeah.
213. Okay, thank you. And that was kind of impenetrable versus how this case is based off of is almost having a faulty product. So like if a manufacturer was producing something that did not work or caused harm, that is I don't want to say loophole, but that is the route that this case is going, which makes it different from past cases. At least that's as far as I understand it. So it'll be interesting. I mean, like I said, it's the first time they're going, like obviously Zuckerberg's testified before Congress before, but as far as being the first time in front of an actual jury who, I don't know, I mean, this could be a really big deal.
If I was going to be a tech bro and own a big tech company, he's the last guy I'd want to be testifying.
The guy, the Instagram founder and still CEO, Messeri, I think I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. He's a much more likable person. Like he actually posts a lot on Instagram telling people how to do like create content and different features. And he's a lot more approachable than the robot Zuckerberg.
Yeah, so I'm curious, if you were to ask me, do I believe that social media is addictive? Absolutely, and I believe that the platforms are doing it on purpose. They're tying their users to those platforms in all kinds of unique ways. Algorithms is the most used term and phraseology, but it's not good. And I think if Sweden sets an example on anything, this would be one that I think I would love to see that happening. And Wisconsin's had some sort of forays into this idea as well. I don't know how far they've gone, but this will be talked about. This is one of those topics that's not going to go away because I think it's impacting everything from health to education. And that's two really important things.
Agreed.
All right, after the break, Bowling for Babies. Kristin's going to tell you all about that as we wind it up to the 11 o'clock hour right here on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ.
Truth Nation, mark your calendars for Friday, February 20th, as we will be hosting our second annual Truth Community Awards, hosted by the legendary Home Blow and Bailey Cope. Tickets are on sale now. Visit 1017truthawards.com to learn more. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Milwaukee College Prep, the Milwaukee Bucks, Gruber, Steinhoffels, Cousin Subs, and 3rd Street Market Hall. Come celebrate with us on Friday, February 20th at the Truth Community Awards from 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Do not miss out on the best community awards event of the year.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Got projects waiting at home? How about this? DIY days. Yes, DIY days at Fleet Farm is the perfect time to get started. Drill into those great deals on power tools. We all need them. Workwear, absolutely. Storage, always need more storage. And more, only at Fleet Farm. Shop and save on the best tools for your job during the DIY Days sale at Fleet Farm. At the same time, Milwaukee Deal Days are going on now at Fleet Farm. Shop and store to find exclusive savings on performance-driven power tool combos, accessories, and more from a brand you can certainly count on. Hurry in during Milwaukee Deal Days now through Sunday, only at Fleet Farm. And don't forget about Chick Days. They're at Fleet Farm. They're taking pre-orders. Order from over 60 different breeds. Start your chicken journey with confidence. Fleet Farm has you covered every step of the way. Visit fleetfarm.com, fleetfarm.com to pre-order those live chicks today and check out their upcoming seminar schedule. Fleet Farm. Go check it out.
Many wins. Many wins. Waiting at Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee. This February, you could break the bank and get down with a share of $300,000 in prizes. Bust out your rewards card and play to earn entries. It all goes down with Thursday drawings. Break the bank. Only at Potawatomi. More info online. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Hi, this is Julie Coombs and Cindy Storm Fisher with Storm Fisher Investment Group. Are you a retiring professional worried about the direction of our economy, about making your money last? Come see what we can do for you. Let us show you how we take care of you to help you have a great retirement. We are at 262-796-8400 or stormfisher.com. See you soon.
Securities offered through Osaic Wealth Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Osaic Advisory Services LLC, Osaic Advisory. Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory are separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, and services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth and Osaic Advisory.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here for Shopco Optical. Start the new year right. Use your vision benefits and schedule your annual comprehensive eye exam. You can check out new frame styles and order your annual supply of contact lenses all in one place. Shopko Optical is committed to quality eye care and will create personalized vision solutions tailored to your specific vision and lifestyle needs. New year, new you, new style. Call Shopko Optical or visit shopko.com to schedule an appointment at a location nearest you.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Never go wrong with Jackson Brown.
Never, ever.
Saw him at Summerfest, God, 35 years ago. He's an old man now like me. Got a beard. I don't have a beard, but he's an old man like I am, and he's a great musician as well. All right, we have a great interview, but before we get to that, because that's coming up at the 11 o'clock hour, Dr. Julia Azari from Marquette talking about politics. You're Bowling for Babies.
That's broad.
Yeah, it's a big subject, but she's going to narrow focus.
We will have a narrow focus with Dr. Julia Azari. But yes, Bowling for Babies. We are 2 weeks away? 2 weeks away from our fun event on March 7th. We're bowling from 12 to 4. Doors open at 11 at Village Bowl and Social in Menominee Falls. We're raising money for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. If you're unfamiliar, this is a cause that I care a lot about. I'm very close with the founder of the organization because half of American parents cannot afford the diapers that they need to keep their kids clean and dry. And because diapers, like everything else, have gone up significantly as far as how much they cost. And you would be surprised. I think it's something like $3,000 a year on diapers for infants and newborns.
So how do they sign up?
So just text BABY to 855-616-1620. We will send you to a landing page that has more information on how to register, more information on Milwaukee Diaper Mission. I just requested to get the whole list of talent that's going to be there bowling because off the top of my head from WTMJ is going to be Vince Vetrano, me, John McCure for sure, Kyle Wallace from KBN and The Truth.
Nice.
Ben Brust, Jen Latta. I know I'm.
That's an all-star team.
Alex Strofe, who's recently engaged.
Just got engaged.
So maybe babies are on the way at some time for those two as well.
Let's not put too much pressure on the young couple.
All right, so yes, text BABY to 855-616-1620. We would love to see you there, and we'll keep talking about it.
All right, news is next on 620 WTMJ.
Welcome to The Knowledge Brokers, weekly feature covering the dynamics of the insurance market, how it affects Wisconsin businesses and residents. Sponsored by the original knowledge broker, R&R Insurance. Joining me today, Jeff Salazinski, Executive Vice President of Insurance Operations. Jeff, 2026 underway. Interested in what you're seeing out there in the issues and trends that you're paying attention to.
Thank you, Vince. Be glad to share some thoughts and insights with the audience.
Well, let's go. Jump right in.
You've heard me talk about balance sheet events in the past, meaning a large, unplanned event that requires a business to use its equity or sell an asset to cover the event or loss. Technology risk, AI misuse, or cybercrime, and climate risk like catastrophic storms, tornadoes, flood, extreme temperatures. These losses can be financially devastating. The good news, Vince, these events are insurable. A well-designed insurance program can remove the risk.
Let's explore that a bit. You said well-designed insurance program. What's that look like?
Vince, a few factors are critical here. Simple to implement, yet often not given enough attention. Property insurance limits has to reflect the actual reconstruction cost of your property. Too many are underinsured in an attempt to save a few bucks. Cybercrime insurance. Cyber policies vary greatly. You need to have the right policy with the right coverage and the right limits. Finding out you're underinsured after a loss is an expensive lesson to learn.
So, Jeff, why should a business work with R&R Insurance?
Vince, we're a family-owned, independent, top 100 insurance agency. R&R Insurance represents 50 years with the same name on the door, consistent investment in the business and our employees, and always being there for our clients. If you're looking for a better insurance purchasing experience, we'd love to speak with you. At R&R Insurance, we know business insurance.
That's Jeff from R&R Insurance. Thanks for the great info, Jeff.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Millions of inventory must be sold. Prices are slashed up to 60% off retail, so save thousands. Save big on new hot tubs, spas, and saunas, also cold tubs. Plus, see the Michael Phelps Signature Swim Spas by Master Spas.
Hi, I'm Michael Phelps. Join the swimming revolution.
The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show this weekend only inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Visit 1-800-SPASale.com.
With Pella, you get so much more than stunning windows and doors. You get the Pella experience. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. And with a 10-year labor warranty, your windows and doors are worry-free for years to come. If something goes wrong, we're here to handle it because you work with the same team from start to finish.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 48 months.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Trusted, relevant, locally owned, locally programmed. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ Milwaukee.
11:01, we have 55 degrees, sunny, windy, warm today with a high of 60. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Connie Weber. State of the State address, Governor Tony Evers touts his success for passing bills with bipartisan support and called on the legislature to keep that momentum moving.
We can't afford for lawmakers to lose focus on the future we've been working hard to build together just because it's an election year. So I know the legislature would rather hit the road and take the rest of the year off, but I'm going to ask lawmakers to stick around until our work here is finished.
Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu says Republican policies are responsible for the state's economic strength and warned what he believes would happen under Democratic control.
If the Democrats were in charge of Madison, Wisconsin would be a very different place. Jobs would flee to other states after they repeal the manufacturers and agricultural tax credit. Our increasingly mobile workforce would leave for states with lower income tax rates. And popular reforms like voter ID and the REINS Act would have been repealed long time ago.
Evers' address was his eighth and final. An attempt to force a mayoral recall in Port Washington appears to have failed.
The effort seeking to oust Mayor Ted Kneitzke was, quote, several hundred signatures short of the number required to initiate the election, according to the city. The submission was presented Monday, which was the deadline per city law. Great Lakes Neighbors United led the recall effort over displeasure with a planned $15 billion AI data center currently under construction in the city. The city clerk still must review the petition per state law. Mayor Kneitzke has not offered comment. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
ABC's Elizabeth Schulze talked to people who say their utility bills have been skyrocketing because of AI data centers.
This was the sound at Laura Evans' home in suburban Chicago last spring when backup generators kicked in at the data center 1,000 feet from her backyard.
And it never goes away. Never goes away.
Laura tells us the data center emits a droning hum 24/7. And it's not just the noise taking a toll. She says in the last year, her average electricity bill has spiked 23%.
Experts also say the AI data centers use a massive amount of water that they don't replenish. Crews conducting a desperate search in California to find missing skiers buried in an avalanche. Authorities initially said there were 16 people in that group of backcountry skiers impacted near Lake Tahoe, but clarified late Tuesday there were only 15. 6 were rescued. Health experts and climate scientists pushing back on that rollback of a key environmental finding last week.
In a new lawsuit, the American Public Health Association, the American Lung Association, the Center for Biological Diversity, and several other public health and climate groups say the EPA is legally required to limit vehicle emissions, according to the Clean Air Act. Last week, the EPA rolled back the endangerment finding, which was the legal basis for regulations covering things like vehicle tailpipe emissions and pollution from factories. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
Police in southern Arizona say the DNA found during the search for Nancy Guthrie doesn't match any records in the FBI's national database. 84-year-old mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie went missing from her home in Tucson February 1st. Vatican says it will not participate in President Trump's Board of Peace, the peace initiative started by Trump last month designed to oversee the rebuilding of Gaza and resolve other global conflicts with Trump as chairman. Mexico has also turned down the invitation. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow is up 280 points, NASDAQ up 270, S&P 500 up 53. Financial planning at every level, Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
You've spent a lifetime taking care of others. Now it's your turn to enjoy life your way. At Capri Communities, they offer vibrant senior living where neighbors become friends, and each day brings something to smile about.
Well, it's breakfast with the boys, and then bingo is at 3 in the afternoon. I lost that super lady I lived with for 60 years, but have found a home and doing well. The accommodations, the facilities, it's been a pleasure.
Find your perfect new home at capricommunities.com.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your car can't express its gratitude when you get an oil change, but the people you're helping will sure appreciate it, because when you visit an Adam member new car dealer through May 16th, they'll donate $1 from every oil change to Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin. To date, Adam has donated more than $960,000, providing 2.8 million meals. To find a participating Adam dealer near you, visit adamm.com. And thank you.
Screaming Sicilian, more is amore. Screaming Sicilian, more is amore. Amore, pepperoni, amore, mozzarella, amore. Screaming Sicilian, screaming Sicilian, more.
Screaming Sicilian frozen pizza. More toppings, more flavor. More is amore.
Fishermen, tired of winter? Come in from the cold at MW Marine this Saturday, starting at 11 a.m. for a free fishing seminar. Meet Captain Doug Klett, Mercury Pro, as he breaks down springtime muskies on Lake Geneva, where to find them and how to get them to bite. Then check out boats, upgrades, and accessories to get your rig ready for the season. It's free and no reservations required. MW Marine.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. College basketball, number 25 Wisconsin men's team lost 86-69 to Ohio State. UW will be back home Sunday to play Iowa. Marquette men at home tonight against number 16 St. John's. On the women's side, the Milwaukee Panthers take on Wright State tonight. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Milwaukee Bucks back on the court Friday for an away game against the Pelicans. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Crash on the exit to Good Hope Road from I-41 south. That crash, I-43 south at Highland Avenue, it has been moved off onto the right shoulder. And there is another wreck. That's I-94 east at Holly Road. This one is blocking the left lane. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny, windy, warm today with a high 60, overnight low 35. Then a chance for isolated showers or thunderstorms tomorrow in the afternoon or evening. High Thursday 48. A rain-snow mix likely on Friday with a high of 40. A few flurries possible on Saturday with a high 34 and just a slight chance of snow on Sunday with a high of 32. 50 in Madison, 49 in Green Bay, 55 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristin Brey.
Welcome back to the 11 o'clock hour of the Hump Day edition.
Oh, there we go.
Wednesday show. We're very excited because joining us now for the full half hour is Dr. Julia Azari, who is a professor of political science at Marquette University, author of many books, most recently, September, Backlash Presidents from Transformative to Reactionary Leaders in American History is her most recent book. And we have lots of things to talk to you about. So we're very excired to have you here.
We could have just recorded our break conversation.
I know, just the lead into this was interesting.
And it's sort of my story. So I'm reading, I reread Ezra Klein's Why We're Polarized. And in your mention in the book, he read your blog posts for Vox, I think you said. And I said, Wait a second. Marquette University, I interviewed her like a few years ago, and I've got to get her back on, and there's a reason why, because I really love smart people. I really love smart people that can write well and that have ideas that sort of, to use some of the words in your title, transform the conversation. That's why you're here. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So let's talk about that book. So it looks at American history. So what's happening with race from like president to president, and there are patterns here, right?
Yeah, so there were kind of two streams of thought that fed into this idea. And the first one was that I was teaching American presidency at Marquette, and one of the things I kind of noticed, I started teaching it with kind of a race lens, which the students were pretty interested in. And what I kind of noticed there is you start to see this pattern where presidents in the years leading up to the Civil War and then the years leading up to civil rights in the 20th century just do not want to touch race with a 10-foot pole.
Right.
They will do anything to compromise around it. And so we were kind of talking about that idea. That was well pre-Trump. I started thinking about that. And then, Trump becomes president, and at some point in, I guess, May of 2017, after the firing of James Comey, you get this whole series of kind of think pieces, places like The Atlantic. People are doing historical comparisons, and they're comparing Trump to Nixon, and they're comparing Trump. More kind of deeply historically minded people are comparing him to Andrew Johnson, the first president to be impeached. And there's kind of like all these questions about whether he's going to be impeached. This is 2017. And the third piece is I've got to write a short memo for a conference that I'm going to. So I'm like, all right, what am I going to write about? And I'm sitting in a coffee shop in one of Milwaukee's fabulous coffee shops thinking about this and reading these think pieces. And it occurs to me that what Nixon and Johnson and Trump all have in common, they're often compared based on their personalities, and there were people writing about race and racism. But what they all have in common is the presidents that came before them. And that's Barack Obama, the first African-American president, and it's Lyndon Johnson, the president who signed civil rights legislation that kind of broke these years of stalemate around civil rights. And it's Abraham Lincoln, the great emancipator. And I thought, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. So I presented this as just my think piece at the conference and got a lot of encouragement to keep digging in the idea. And the more I started digging in the idea, the more was there as far as the way these impeachment crises were kind of rooted in the racial politics of the time and the way in which they have some interesting parallels across these many years.
No, the Trump administration would say they're scrubbing out race from every way that you could possibly classify it. And we've seen the elimination of DEI across universities and companies at a large scale. So what do you say to that argument?
Yeah, so what I say to that argument, and I wrote the book, I should say, I sent the book off on January 20th, 2025. I wrote a little afterword about Trump's inaugural, and I talk about that line about being colorblind. So the way that I think about that in the book is this is kind of the post-civil rights era following that legislation. With Ronald Reagan, that becomes a sort of dominant idea about race, is we're going to be colorblind, this sort of anti-affirmative action. And I think those ideas have a lot of resonance. And importantly, I think they have a lot of resonance outside of the sort of core supporters of someone like Ronald Reagan. They have a lot of resonance outside of what would have been the sort of core opponents of civil rights at that time, and also outside of the core MAGA base. And so that's, I think, a kind of key part of understanding that is that these ideas resonate with people. But they've been pretty heavily critiqued in both the political space and in the academic space, that by emphasizing being colorblind, that might be useful in an interpersonal context. But at a political or social level, that can obscure what people's real experiences are. And so you can't just say we're beyond this without making some bigger changes to actually be beyond it. That's my sort of brief summary. And like I said, I'm drawing on really an extensive literature in political science, history, sociology, communication.
One of the common things you hear is this is like the way we do politics now is uncharted territory. Is this era, this time actually unique in any way? Because we've had all kinds of drama in our nation's history.
Yeah, certainly we have. And writing this book really did help me think about that in the deeper context. I should say I wrote the book mostly, I had the idea in 2017. I mostly wrote the book while Biden was president. So it's not, you know what I mean? I wasn't really thinking about the second Trump term, which I'll be honest, I didn't really predict. But it did give a sense that these sort of deep points of crisis, these deep points of people not understanding what the limits on the powerful were, these are not new. What is a little bit new is the extent to which, because of the way that party politics works now, that it's all kind of consolidated. So American political history is very fragmented. Right, at any given time, there's a president, they're from a party, but half their party has major reservations about them. Half the people in their administration have major reservations about them. And that's sometimes very frustrating, but also provides a kind of check. And that fragmentation is not as evident. You see the sort of MAGA Trump Republicanism has to some extent like transcended that and transcended the differences across branches or across individuals in that party coalition. And that does make a difference for the way that administration has built its power.
Do you see it just on the right versus, do you feel like, because I would say it still seems fairly fragmented on the left.
I think that's right. I mean, I think that could change. I think that's correct. I think on the left you have a lot of really different opinions. You have a lot of different people who are seeking power, and you don't have a central figure like Trump.
And is that the main difference? Is because there is a central figure on the right now, and there isn't one on the left? Is that like what you see is like why the difference is happening?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think the difference probably is a little bit deeper than that. Okay. I think that's probably like the most immediate cause. But I think, and there's like a whole line of thought about this in political science and kind of debate about how the two parties are a little bit different. And the Democratic Party, even going back to the 1830s when it was formed, is like obviously very different than it is now. But it's always kind of been a party of like, how can we patch together, different right. groups in society? And so it's not surprising that that's still reflected now. And I think there's some pretty like significant disagreements among Democrats about, I describe it this way, as there's a segment of the Democratic Party that wants to go back to sort of pre-Trump. They really value returning to normal.
Like social norms or political norms.
Yeah, political norms, but also just like the Obama years were good to them, the Clinton years were good to them. I think that these are largely older folks. And then there are younger Democrats who are like, the system is not working for me. I'm never going to own a home, whatever their sort of objection is. And they may be more socially progressive, but I think it's also a kind of an economic division.
Dr. Julia Azari, professor of political science at Marquette University, our guest for this half hour. Lots to talk about. I'm talking about the generational differences when we're talking about politics, and certainly the power of parties, and who has taken some of that power. We'll discuss that with our guest after this on 620 WTMJ. Point taken.
All types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Frank Pasternak of Pasternak and Zergabel. Jeff Zergabel and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
You've seen us around town, volunteering, supporting events, and showing up where it matters. At Waterstone Bank, we're more than a bank. We're your neighbor. The money you deposit stays local, helping small businesses, creating jobs, and supporting home ownership. It's banking from the community for the community. Visit your local branch or WSBOnline.com to see how we're building a stronger southeastern Wisconsin, one neighbor at a time. Waterstone Bank, member FDIC.
February means big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Upgrade your home with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath makeover and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time during our February winter savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com now. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Have you listened to WTMJ Outdoors yet? Well, what are you waiting for? Every Saturday at 2 right here on 620 WTMJ. Stories of the outdoors in Wisconsin and beyond as we celebrate everything in recreation. This week, we're talking conservation with the Milwaukee Audubon Society. How about this? Muskie fishing. It's always popular. Talk to a guide from northern Wisconsin, and we wrap it up with the sports show coming up in March. Lumberjacks, Trout Pond, join us.
It's WTMJ Outdoors, presented by Outdoor Living Unlimited.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I'm Kristin, here with Steve, and we are talking to Dr. Julia Azari, who is a professor of political science at Marquette. Very smart, written lots of books. So as far as how would you describe, especially in context of American history, how strong are the parties right now? Because there's always so much debate and a lot of people who are unhappy with a two-party system. But is that because the parties are so strong right now, or because they're so weak that we're unhappy with what we have?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and I think it gets at both of these both of the parties have so many different facets to their strength. And so one way I've thought about this that's a little bit, is a little convenient as a phrase, but is like weak parties, strong partisanship. So on the one hand, partisanship is the kind of, way we understand politics. And so that's obviously a very strong force. But the parties as organizations are really complex. And so, for a long time, it kind of looked like Democrats were the weaker party organization for something we don't often think about, which is their kind of neglect of state and local party organizations. So to be really strong, what a lot of people in the political science world focus on is how strong are the organizations? How much continuity is there across different leaders? Is there a party organization that sort of has an ongoing operation? Do they have to reinvent the wheel every election? And that's where, for a long time, Republicans had actually done quite well and Democrats had done quite poorly. For Republicans, this is interesting because now everything is really dominated by MAGA. And so there is this question of, if a party is so dominated by one person, how strong is it really organizationally? I don't have an answer to that, but I suspect that we will all be thinking about those answers in 2028, 2029. For Democrats, I think one of the tricks with the Democratic Party is that it maybe at the national level is a little bit stronger organizationally, but it also has a much more difficult job, which is that it's a very complicated coalition. And so holding that together and resolving these differences in a presidential nomination and a platform, whatever, what have you, is a really difficult job for the Democratic Party to do. And I kind of feel like the organization is always lagging behind the demands of that job.
Obviously, the president has made comments about running again, even though constitutionally he can, and I would still say today that he's not going to. Once Trump is not the candidate, the figurehead in the Republican Party, do we see a sort of a reversion back to maybe how it was traditionally, the two parties going head-to-head? Because Trump has consumed all the oxygen in the room. I don't think that's even debatable. How does that change with him not as the central figure of that party?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is the open kind of question, and I think it's going to depend on whose voices are in that room and how they interact with each other. I think a long time ago, I kind of tried to come up with a typology of different types of Republicans, and so there's kind of hardcore Trump followers and people who owe their political careers to Trump, and that obviously has become a larger group over time. And then there's people who, this is in sort of the in-between years. When Biden was president, there's people in the party, I would put kind of Mike Pence and Nikki Haley in this category, who were largely on board with the Trump project, but had some reservations about some of Trump's specific decisions and conduct. And then you have a lot of people, not a lot of people, you have a segment of the party that has been consistently opposed to Trump. A lot of those folks have left politics. It now seems like there's a new kind of emergent faction, maybe, of people who are breaking away from Trump. So the two questions there are, will they leave politics? Will they stay in conservative politics? Will they stay in Congress? Will they stay in conservative media? And the other question is, will they be able to work together? And so far, they haven't. So far, there's consistently been a faction that, as all presidents have had, I want to kind of emphasize that. This is not uncommon, that all presidents have had one faction of their party that's not totally on board with them. And with Trump, it just takes on these new dimensions because of some of the norm violations, but they haven't been able to coordinate at all.
So what do you see? Because I do think that there is an impressive amount of cohesion that because of Trump's personality, he has been able to, even if you look at his administration, of competing ideologies, but all under one administration. And so what do you kind of see as the factions right now that could be up against each other once Trump is out of the picture?
Yeah, this is a good question, because I think one thing that makes Trump distinct is he's actually able to be a little bit ambiguous among these factions. I think that there are, I think we're kind of seeing that there is some faction that really does care about kind of like civil libertarian values. There's obviously an economic faction, and sometimes the big question here for me is like, will that group align itself with Trump as they have in many cases, or will they see his project as ultimately like things like the tariffs, things like policy changing all the time? Those things are usually seen as being like not great for business. So what will that group do? And then of course there's, diehard Trump project people.
Yeah.
Dr. Julia Azari is our guest. I was
gonna say,
I got a million questions, which I knew it would happen because you know what you're talking about. She's a professor of political science at Marquette. We'll take a break. I want to get a little bit into the conversation about identity politics. I know Kristin has a million things she wants to talk about. We'll do it all in 2 minutes after this.
Yeah.
Get the help you need Saturday morning with How To Radio. At 7, it's the WTMJ Fix It Show with David Nason, featuring this week's guest, CertaPro Painters. At 9, plan your dream vacation with the Fox World Travel Show. And at 10, get financial guidance during Money Talk. Contact Annex Wealth Management for an unbiased review of your investments at annexwealth.com. How To Radio, Saturday mornings on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. It's not about age, it's about a mindset. When you're ready for advice, it's time to seek a relationship with a wealth management firm that provides comprehensive planning and is ready to provide strategic advice, whether you're just starting your journey or finishing it. Many people are watching the headlines wondering what's ahead. Annex Wealth Management can help you turn uncertainty into understanding with personalized guidance and comprehensive planning. Annex builds diversified, tax-aware portfolios with the aim of managing risk, supporting your long-term financial goals. Our professionals help you evaluate strategies such as Roth conversions, thoughtful withdrawal planning, portfolio positioning to help move forward with clarity rather than concern. With the tax deadline approaching, it's a great time to have someone who's up to date on the latest strategies and laws. Look at your portfolio. Planning for tax returns doesn't have to feel overwhelming. If it's for you, your family, your business, Annex can help. Annex delivers coordinated expertise with a team of CFPs, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, and attorneys. I met them all under one roof, all very qualified experts at what they do. Give yourself the gift of guidance. Visit annexwealth.com. Click the now famous Get Started button. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary with Annex Wealth Management.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life, rejuvenate.
So it's all too common of a story. And it's common enough that we account for a certain percentage of our new patients to make their first appointment and get cold feet. They put it off. I'm not sure why, because our physicians are offering legitimate medical pain relief treatment. The combination of hyaluronic acid and Toradol cushions joints and has an extremely powerful effect in reducing inflammation. So much so that a vast majority of Rejuvenex patients report a significant improvement with their pain. I guess it's human nature. But sometimes human nature keeps us in our comfort zone, even when it means remaining living in pain. So after you make your appointment to alleviate your pain, and that little voice tries to convince you to put it off, don't, because your pain problems can be solved, and you can live a better life.
Rejuvenate. Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Call today, and there's a good chance we could be seeing you tomorrow.
From the biggest plays on the court to the comments made in the locker room after. An in-depth recap of every Bucks game. In 6 minutes. No more, no less. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. If you missed any of the game or just want to relive the biggest moments, Bucks in 6 provides game recaps every morning after. Hear the high-flying dunks from Giannis or the deep threes from Miles Turner. And catch the comments post-game about what happened on the court. Bucks in 6 on the Bucks Plus audio network. Find it now on bucks.com/plus or on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Point Taken. I'm Kristin. He's Steve, talking to Dr. Julia Azari, professor of political science at Marquette. Steve, what was the question you wanted to ask?
So when I'm reading Ezra Klein's book, Why We're Polarized, and I agree with this premise that everything we do now is defined by the party you align yourself with, from your ideas about vaccinations. We see the decline of people getting measles vax and all that stuff. It just has taken over and consumed us. Is there a way back from that? Because I don't think it's healthy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. And yeah, he was riffing on political scientist Liliana Mason on that. I think that, that's one way to kind of think about the question, is partisanship is really strong and people kind of follow it. But what you're really asking is about how people behave, Right. And if everyone was just doing this in a way that didn't involve behavior that we found concerning and objectionable, then it would be a very different question. And I think that's kind of the direction that I'm going in my work, is really thinking about like who has power, how is power flowing in our society? Are people making decisions that are sort of building healthy communities? And that's very hard because you want to be really objective with the data and not call people out on things you think are bad. But
so when you say behavior, are you talking about elected official behavior or like the general populace?
A little of both. I mean, Steve's triggering me a little bit with the measles thing. Because I don't want measles. Like, I don't feel like that's a controversial statement.
It shouldn't be, but here we are.
And, and I'm old enough to have, right, like older relatives to tell stories about this. But, yeah, but I also think elected officials, like, absolutely, they're the ones whose behavior needs to be focused on. And I think that's the other piece of it. The other concern that people have is like when we're that partisan, people don't hold officials of their own parties accountable.
All right, there's so much more that we're going to have to bring you back because I have a million more questions. You're awesome. Your writing is brilliant. Dr. Julia Azari, professor of political science at Marquette University. You will come back, right?
I'll come back.
I'm going to get on the podcast, too. We have local news. We always do this on Wednesdays. Ask us anything. Your questions can sort of dictate where the show goes. Here's the latest now from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen, the top Democrat on the House Homeland Security Committee, demanding answers from DHS Secretary Noem.
In a scathing letter, the committee's top Democrat accuses Kristi Noem of running her department with a level of conceit, capriciousness, and cruelty rivaling the Queen of Hearts. Congressman Benny Thompson points to a recent report in the Wall Street Journal alleging Noem's chief advisor, Corey Lewandowski, ordered the firing of a Coast Guard pilot because Noem's blanket was left behind on a plane. Thompson is now demanding that Noem produce her travel records and a fulsome accounting of Lewandowski's service as a special employee who's only supposed to work 130 days a year. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
In Arizona, the search continuing for Nancy Guthrie. Authorities now working to find out where the suspect seen on doorbell video at her home purchased the clothing. Today is the start of Lenten season for most Christians, a time of reflection and sacrifice leading up to Easter, and Muslims are marking the first day of Ramadan, the Islamic holy month of fasting. This is ABC.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. Police looking for a suspect in an armed robbery and sexual assault near Marquette University. A female student was approached right before 2 a.m. this morning, 14th and Kilbourne. She told police a man displayed a weapon and assaulted her, stole items from her, and then ran off. Milwaukee public school leaders working on solutions to come up with fill a $46 million budget deficit, which was discovered after a recent audit revealed that deficit. The school district plans to review staffing contracts, freeze hiring for non-classroom positions, study transportation costs, make cuts in service staffing among solutions. Wisconsin's sturgeon spearing season is underway. Officials say good weather and easy access to the lakes makes for a successful start. Sturgeon spearing season runs 16 days or when the harvest caps are reached. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Dow up 314 points, 49,847. NASDAQ up 284 at 22,863. S&P 500 up 58 points at 6,901. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Taking a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver. Traffic that crash on I-43 south at Highland has been cleared. Still working one. I-94 east at Hawley Road. This one blocking the left lane, and a crash on the exit to Good Hope Road from I-41. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Becoming mostly sunny, windy, warm today. High 60, overnight low tonight 35. Chance of showers in the afternoon or evening tomorrow, maybe even an isolated thunderstorm with a high 48. A mix of rain and snow likely on Friday, high of 40. Few flurries possible Saturday, high 34. And just a slight chance of snow on Sunday with a high of 32. 51 in Madison, 50 in Green Bay, 55 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
At Capri Communities, they believe people of every age deserve to enjoy life.
I recently moved my dad into a Capri community. He has gained such new independence. His falls have decreased, he's eating healthy meals, and going on great new adventures. Knowing Dad is in a great place really gives me the peace of mind I needed. And now, we're both enjoying life again.
Give the care that has your parent enjoying life again at Capri Communities. Get started today at capricommunities.com.
A buck doesn't buy much unless you're spending it at Griffin. For just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand, $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. We'll even show you the invoice to prove it. Our only requirements, we put them on for you. Buy one or the whole set. The dollar deal from Griffin. Milwaukee and Waukesha. Griffin. The buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
WTMJ's Eric Bilstead here for Tri-County Contracting. Have you ever thought to yourself, I want my house to look better than it does. I just don't know where to even start or even what to do. Tri-County Contracting can help you with that. They can help you love your home again. They have the design consultants, they've got the showroom, they've got real picture renderings, they've got it all to help turn your home back into your dream home. Tri-County Contracting, WI.com. Love your home again with Tri-County Contracting.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Now it's time for Ask Us Anything on Point Taken. Got a burning question? Give us a call or text on the Siding Unlimited talk and text line at 855-616-1620.
Always look forward to this, not a break from the regular stuff, but we just like entertain your questions, and it could be a phone call, it could be a text.
All right, we have a heavy one to start off.
Heavy? Ooh, I didn't look at it.
Do you think that the Trump administration will impose last-minute, intrusive, arguably unconstitutional voting regulations on the states just before critical national elections such that there's insufficient time to, quote, stay them in courts?
Two things on that one. One, I think he will try. I think he'll fail. But what he will do, and this is where it gets worrisome, is in the immediate areas around polling places, as close as he can get legally, he will probably, in some places, big cities, use what I would call law enforcement intimidation.
But to intimidate, just like tell people that they can't vote?
Just to stand there. They're not going to, they can't actively, if they actually do that, they would be breaking the law.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, we're going to have ICE agents. I mean, that's what Homan said, right? We're going to have ICE agents guarding polling places. Like, to do what?
To do nothing but stand there. That's an intimidation to some people. There are already people in this country who don't want to vote because it's just too much of a hassle. You throw a ICE agent or a law enforcement professional into the equation, as much respect as I have for most of those folks, it's intimidating to people. Especially if, let's say, haven't lived a perfect life and you have done some things you're not that proud of. You're not necessarily have a warrant out for your arrest, but you don't feel comfortable about law enforcement for those reasons that I just stated. That can be intimidation. So whatever they can't get away with will not happen in the polling place, but adjacent to that, absolutely. He'll try a lot of things. Now, whether he succeeds or not getting that done, we'll see. That's my fear. That is the way you win an election that you probably have no business winning, which is midterms, because of all the reasons we talk about on this show. Poor policy, tariffs, affordability, just fear in the general public walking through your neighborhood and you're being intimidated or chased or whatever. It doesn't look good for Republicans, and I'm a Republican, so I care about this stuff. It doesn't look good for the midterms, and I think most people say right at this moment, now things can change dramatically, as we know, that party will lose the midterms, at least the House, and possibly even now, which is astounding when I think about what people were talking about a year ago, lose the Senate, both houses.
How many seats would they have to pick up for the Senate? Or how many out of the races? How many races?
Yeah,
because obviously it's always only a third.
Yeah, but
of the races that are for the Senate, how many are toss-ups?
It's a great question. I don't know.
I'll look it up.
That's a specific question related to each state. I think we have to look at that from the perspective. Republicans should be thinking about this. That's why I asked Dr. Azari the question, what the future beyond Trump is. If you're a Republican, you care about conservatism, real conservative, not the fake populism stuff. Those questions matter. Who's the standard bearer? Is it Marco Rubio? Is it Ron DeSantis? Is it J.D. Vance? I don't know.
All right, I got it. The toss-ups. Georgia with Ossoff.
Yeah.
Maine with Collins. Michigan's an open seat. North Carolina's an open seat. And then next to that is lean Democrat is New Hampshire, which is open. And then a lean red is Arkansas and Ohio.
Yeah. So
those are kind of the world in which what could flip.
And I'm a follower of Harry Ensign, who does polling for CNN. And he says the numbers for Republicans in all these races, House and Senate, and the numbers for the president are astoundingly bad as it gets for any two-term president, and frankly for any president on his popularity. That suggests a blue wave. And how big the wave is has implications for Wisconsin, including our governor's race. Because if there's a blue wave and we're any or all a part of that, that's bad news for Tom Tiffany. He's not winning that race. I don't care who the opponent is, maybe even Mandela Barnes, who I said he could beat. That's the risk for Republicans. And Republicans, you want to lose the population real quickly. And we had a little bit of that with the aftermath of 2020. We're like, what are you guys doing? You're saying stupid things because your guy lost. If we have even more of that, changing the rules, we saw it with redistricting, right? And Democrats.
Which is looking like it's going to be a wash as far as the states that tried
Surprise. You tried to cheat, and then the other side cheats, and it's all, it's a wash. The other thing, of course, is how these elections go down, and whether the original question, how these things are shaped by this president. All unknowns at this point. But right now, the warning signs are there for Republicans. Heed them or, face the consequences. And for this president, the consequences are another impeachment probably, little or no work on any policies. You can do what you want with executive actions. You're probably going to get shot down, especially if there's big majorities for the other side. That's the risk. And a unhinged Donald Trump, if he's not there already, anybody should be fearful of that.
So you think he will try?
Absolutely. What suggests he wouldn't? I mean, just from the things that I've heard him say recently. He's still walking around saying 2020 was stolen. Any moron with a brain knows that election was not stolen. I don't care what your cousin on the internet saw. Every one of those claims has been debunked. Stop saying it out loud. You look like an idiot. That's my message for Republicans and conservatives in the state of Wisconsin. Quick break.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is this weekend only inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Millions of inventory must be sold. Prices are slashed up to 60% off retail, so save thousands. Save big on new hot tubs, spas, and saunas, also cold tubs. Plus, see the Michael Phelps Signature Swim Spas by Master Spas.
Hi, I'm Michael Phelps. Join the swimming revolution.
The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show this weekend only inside the Exposition Center at Wisconsin State Fair Park. Visit 1-800-SPASale.com.
We see you out there doing things your way, which is why you shop at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, because we've supplied generations of farms and families with everything you need at prices that make the most of your money. Like $10 off select Blaine's brand tractor fluid. Awards members save an extra $2. $5 off assorted AgriMaster calf milk replacers. And assorted Nutrina livestock feeds, $4 off. In-store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Accunet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Brian Wickert with my son David, president of Accunet. David, we're pre-approving a lot of home shoppers this time of year. Why should someone choose Accunet for their pre-approval?
Dad, getting pre-approved with just any lender is like showing up to a first date in sweatpants. Sure, you're there, but are you really ready to impress? Our rock-solid pre-approval is like showing up in your best outfit with reservations already made. We also have an excellent reputation among real estate agents, so having Accunet's name on your pre-approval can make the difference.
What else?
In addition to clearly stating we verified your credit, income, and down payment, we'll also run the specific home you're looking to buy through our underwriting software to see if we can approve your loan without an appraisal, which sellers and their agents absolutely love. Bottom line, we do everything possible to help you win.
Thanks, David. Don't settle for anything less. Get started with your rock-solid pre-approval by clicking on the blue button today at Accunet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
3 generations ago, it was about doing one thing and doing it right.
Hardwood, tile, carpet, floors that had to last because our name, Adair, was on them. Over time, homeowners asked us to do more. Kitchens, bathrooms, full remodels. And so our name changed to Adair Floors and Remodeling.
But flooring has always been the foundation, literally.
And it's something the next generation already understands.
Hi, I'm Ava. Hi, I'm Quinn. My dad does
floors.
From hardwood and luxury vinyl plank to tile and carpet, we handle selection, layout, and professional installation.
And because we also remodel homes, we know how flooring works with everything else. Transitions, finishes, and long-term durability.
When you hire Adair, you're getting experience you can stand on and people who will be here for decades to come.
Call my dad. Bye-bye.
Adair Floors and Remodeling. Built on flooring, trusted for remodels. 3 generations, 1 standard. Call us at 414-761-3660 for your free flooring estimate.
Skylight Music Theater presents The Spitfire Grill, a heartfelt Wisconsin-born musical of redemption and second chances. This 25th anniversary production features a 5-piece band. The Spitfire Grill, February 27th through March 15th. Tickets at skylightmusictheater.org.
Welcome back to Point Taken. We are doing Ask Us Anything. Shoot us a text, give us a call, 855-616-1620. Ask us a question, and we will answer it.
So somebody asked why our signal gets shut down at night. So I actually looked it up because I kind of knew it was an FCC requirement, but it's to knock down the interference with other stations across the country that share 620, which I did not know. So I actually looked that up.
Oh.
It's interesting that there are 15 to 20 U.S. cities that have 620 as their station location on the dial. Phoenix has a station, St. Petersburg, Tampa, Durham, Jackson, Mississippi, and Burlington, Vermont. So it's to limit some of that interference with the stations, those other stations. So
now you know.
It's a great specific question.
It's a very specific question. I can't answer this, but a question I will try to at least bring up so we can also talk about next Monday. Why hasn't the legislature passed laws demanding data centers to build their own power plants? There is competing legislation that has been proposed. Lot of feelings about data centers. I think I've talked about this before, but we were having an event through Journal Sentinel on Monday at Turner Hall to answer specifically where this first one's going to be about power and water, which is where a lot of people's questions lie. I will add this to the list. We're going to have energy lawyer Arthur Harrington be our power expert to talk through some of those questions. I know right now We Energies has proposed what they call a tariff, but I feel like that word now has been soiled when we think about other tariffs. But the Public Service Commission is considering or has under consideration right now what We Energies has proposed, which is a 75% that these data centers pay for 75% of the new power plants, and consumers would pay for 25% because they want more coal power plants going offline anyways. And so this would be something that is going to benefit consumers no matter what. That has not been approved yet, right? As far as what We Energies is saying is their gold standard. The rest of the country will follow us if this is how it's, proposed and formatted. But nothing has actually been decided yet by the PSC.
Given our commitment to data centers in Wisconsin, and that commitment is ongoing and has
What do you mean our commitment?
Our decision to accept all these data centers in our state.
Well, there's a lot of places that are not accepting it.
Right.
There's 3 towns up north that have already been like, no, thank you.
Open arms so far in most places, with some resistance.
There's been increasing resistance now that people understand what they are, right? Like there was a fair amount of secrecy in the lead up to Port Washington. This is not because of local officials. This is because of the Cloverleaf, which is a company that is working on zoning, and they're not the actual company. And then it ends up being OpenAI and all these different things that are like you find out later,
right?
Or they have found out later in the process. So it's not that it has been open arms. I would say now it was open arms because we didn't understand what it was, and now a lot of people, regardless of party, have concerns.
Yeah, I would caution the word secrecy because someone who worked.
There was NDAs involved. What do you mean?
Understood. But part of any development is there's secrecy because you cannot have the details out there before you ever reach some sort of an idea of what this is going to be. That's always part of any development, large or small. So that's always there. But yes, there's lots of eyes on these data centers, and for good reason. If they don't figure out the individual consumer of electricity issue, which is how much are we going to pay for this stuff, they're going to lose a lot of people real quick. I understand the economic value here. You're buying property. You're making a great tax haul for local communities and some not so small. I get all that, but they have to figure this out. Even Tom Tiffany says we got to look at this. We have to look at what the individual consumer is going to be forced to pay with this. I would argue if we're going to do the number that gets thrown around is 75-25. I think you mentioned that.
For the new power plants,
yes.
yeah.
Whatever that is, I think there should be a reevaluation out of ways. I don't know if that's 3-5 years. Is this working for consumers? If it's not, let's have a built-in sort of update that says, this is not working, we have to fix this. So much of this is uncertainty because we've never built on this scale. These types of facilities are massive as far as the geography, but don't have a lot of employees in them. You just have a lot of technology. We've never really done this in Wisconsin like this, with a few minor exceptions. Maybe you could use the Foxconn example, but they're not anywhere close to this. Now, maybe I'm going to participate in a panel on this in the near future. One of the reasons we invest in freeways is for all these reasons, is to bring companies like the ones we've seen that can move employees if we ever need to move employees, and that's part of the story as well. So it's a fascinating conversation. Data centers are...
Wait, why are you bringing freeways into this?
Because we have to move both equipment, traffic, commerce, and people in our communities better. What do we see in our communities? We see disjointed freeway systems. They're horrible. They're horrific. They're always being worked on. The way to I'll give you an example, direct example. This is why I'm on this panel. The work that was done from Milwaukee south to the state line is beautiful and efficient. That was a project that was done before the Foxconn thing was even had a building in the ground. Okay. That's made commerce work better. That's an example of spending money before it ever happens to make commerce work. That's the power of a freeway.
So what's this panel?
I can't talk about it yet.
Oh.
I will talk about it. I'm giving him a tease. But that's somebody who's worked, because we built an interchange in Oak Creek. We were supportive of freeway expansion. That's why that stuff matters. It's always a long-term play. That's why the freeway haters drive me nuts, because they only care about what's happening right now. That's not what we talk about when we talk about freeways. It's generational.
I feel like you kind of took a right turn.
Well, because they asked the question.
Okay. Right? Am I right, Jaslyn? Right turn.
That's passion for radio. Is what
he is a Republican.
He is.
I don't know, but that's a left turn. What are we talking about? Let's take a break.
Hey, the Lenten season is here. Experience the fabulous all-you-care-to-eat Friday fish fry at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here, one of the best. All other dinners are buy one, get one free every night, even Saturdays. Savor your favorite steak, the twin lobster tails, the mixed grill of a filet, shrimp, and scallops, honey glazed salmon, any entree, ribs, you got it. All buy one, get one free. Desserts also buy one, get one free. Only at the famous Fox and Hounds. Unwind tonight with an old-fashioned. Choose from 20 bourbons, 100 wines. Enjoy in one of the 8 elegant dining rooms with 7 real wood-burning fireplaces. You're going to feel warm and welcomed and cozy. Take your family to the Fox and Hounds this week. Half of your dinners are free. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the Holy Hill Shrine, serving dinner from 4 p.m. today. Dine early. Tables are open. Serving Saturday lunch from 11 till 2. Google, call, and reserve your Friday haddock Lenten fish fry and free dinner. It's the famous Fox and Hounds.
What does meaningful giving really look like? Join Annex Wealth Management for our Women in Wealth series, Giving from the Heart, where purpose meets tax planning, on February 19th in Brookfield. Enjoy dinner, refreshments, and an engaging evening on giving with intention. Hear from a local panel of nonprofit leaders as they explore today's philanthropic trends, smart charitable strategies, and how your giving can reflect your values and legacy.
Hi, I'm Maggie Tate-Techman, Executive Director at Haws. I hope to see you on February 19th. Reserve your spot on the events page at annexwealth.com.
When I shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, every time I come in, it's like a whole new store. It's because new inventory's arriving daily, all kinds of everything. And let me tell you, thrift store prices make buying easy. And helping others at the same time, that's icing on the cake. St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
With an ever-changing inventory, you never know what great bargains you're going to be able to find at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores. It makes shopping fun because the best finds are the ones you had no idea you'd even come across. And when they're at thrift store prices, it feels good. And it feels even better to know you're helping us help others. Shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
You're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Prizes, flyaways, even
Cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests.
That's WTMJ.com/contests. Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
An employee at the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office resigns after reportedly leaking information about a sexual assault investigation.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
Border Czar Tom Homan announces federal agents are drawing down from the surge in Minneapolis after a 2-month-long immigration enforcement operation.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ. WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
This yes? No?
It's Allman Brothers.
Oh, is it? I didn't recognize it. Sorry. I don't know every song ever recorded. Jazz.
I didn't know what it was either, if it makes you feel any better.
Thanks for all the great questions. We could do hours of this, but we have other things to talk about. I do want to talk about our newsletter because Monday we're going to be making a big announcement on how you can win Brewers tickets. I'm sort of teasing it now, but really good tickets for a game in April against the defending American League champion Toronto Blue Jays.
Jayhawks?
Blue Jays.
Blue Jays. Whatever.
Kansas Jayhawks, I believe is
that what it is? Okay.
I think so. So we'll give you all that information Monday. You'll hear about it on all the shows, and we'll talk about it a lot. But you got to subscribe. So right now you can just do it, get ahead of the curve. Extra, EXTRA, to 855-616-1620. You can subscribe and find out what we're up to, what we're reading, what we're recommending. We always have a Wisconsin story. Each of us pick one. And those are sometimes the most fun of the whole thing, finding a unique Wisconsin story.
Do you have one for this week yet?
I haven't picked one yet.
I haven't picked one yet.
So you know what I do is I go around the state, I find the local newspapers and just find cool things, and then I pick one. Now, I did an easy one a couple of weeks ago, the Jordan Stoll story, because our friend Lori Nickel, she's doing great reporting for the morning show from Italy. That story's amazing.
So does he have one event left?
2.
He has 2 events left.
I don't know
he
what
could
they are,
come
though.
home with a max of 4 golds.
He could. He's the best skater in the world.
He has 2 right now.
Yeah.
God, did you watch the special that they did on him with like the pond in the backyard?
I didn't.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Tomorrow's show we have Jeremy Janine.
Yep.
I like to tease Jeremy because if you want a really detailed look at what's happening in the city of Milwaukee from a governmental perspective, developments, he sort of covers all the bases. It's a really thorough hour, and I mad respect for what Jeremy does at urbanmilwaukee.com. It's a great hour, so we'll have that. Plenty of other stuff to talk about, including our reaction to whatever Marky Zuckerberg says today. Apparently, he's like a fitness guy now. He works out.
Yeah, it wasn't like what happened to when him and Elon were going to do a UFC fight?
Who would win that fight?
I think Zuckerberg, because he's been actually training.
Is he younger than Musk?
Yes, he's my age.
Is he?
He's like 2 years older than me.
And Musk is what, 50?
Probably approaching 60.
No, he's not that old. Think?
I think he's at least mid-50s.
As they say, Google that, We'll find out the answer. All right, fun show. We'll do it again tomorrow. Point taken, 620 TMJ News is next.
Welcome to our Everyday Health feature, sponsored by the Freightert and the Medical College of Wisconsin Health Network. February is Heart